What's up, everybody? It's Final Fantasy Friday, and you know what that means? It means it's time to play Final Fantasy some more. So we do have a little bit of direction right now. There is that dwarf encampment that is east in the Aldi Sea and the Northwest Castle. And so I think instead of just hanging out and grinding, why don't we travel to those locations? We'll end up in a bunch of random battles anyway. And that will allow us to get a couple level ups, which will level us up enough to get to the Peninsula of Power where we can grind some more. So while we're here, I think what I want to do is pick up a saber for me. Now you'll notice I said something earlier about you just wanting hit percent on weapons, and while that's true, I am dealing like 3 to 5 damage, so we just desperately need the damage so badly that we're going to take something that just has more damage, even though the hit percent is pretty bad on the saber. It's just going to increase my damage output to make me like a little bit more viable as an attacker. And now I've still got about 400 gil. But I don't think I can buy anything super meaningful in the armor shop. But this is going to be a little bit of a walk, and we're not going to be too close to town while we're adventuring. I'm going to double check. I don't exactly remember what they've got, but yeah, I mean, we could get some more caps. I can get an iron shield and a wooden helmet. I think that makes sense for Skittle. He's all full up, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to give the cap to me. And then that's going to allow me to get a helmet, and then we can go ahead and sell the wooden shield and get that iron shield. We're just going to go with the cheap stuff for now. By the time we get back, we'll have a lot more money. And why don't we get caps for everyone else? Whoops, I gave that to the wrong person, but that's okay. This isn't going to help, like, a crazy amount, but it will mean that the road is going to be a little less dangerous for us, which is always good. And let's go ahead and give that wooden helmet to who it belongs to. Okay. I'm fairly satisfied with that. And now I've still got 53 gil, so I can't even buy one healing potion. Okay. Well, I think we're just gonna go for it. I think we'll be just fine. So, I think we'll hit the Northwest Castle first. And if you recall, the Northwest Castle was the place that person said that it was so dark and creepy that they just left right away. And that sounds like something we'd be interested in. So let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so you'll notice now that our Black Mage is leading the party. That is because Skittle got poisoned, and I think I have one pure potion to rescue this road trip. But this is what I meant about there being a property of this where it sticks you in the back row and then you just have to fix it. And you have to do it every time you get poisoned. It gets pretty tiresome pretty quick. And here we are. The Northwest Castle. So what's going on in here? I don't think there are going to be random encounters in here, but we'll see. Key, the bat says. Astos double-crossed us. Go south to the Cave of Marsh to retrieve the crown. Then bring it directly back to me. Okay, person I don't know, I will do that. I can't believe Astos would double-cross someone. Oh, wait, yes, I can. And I think the idea of the environment in here is to make it look a little ruined, like a little run down. That's why there are these, like, patches of grass encroaching on the inner area. And that door is locked by the Mystic Key as well. That is 6 for our room count. So the idea of getting the Mystic Key is getting pretty juicy, in my opinion. But there was a sort of way out over there. And once again, I don't, like, remember 100% every single castle and dungeon. Obviously, I will be able to navigate through them just fine. But I don't remember every single thing that you can find. And the fact that I could sort of get out there was a little bit interesting. So I kind of want to see what this is all about. Out of the way, bat. Yeah, it looks like nothing at all, I guess. Okay. Well, I just wanted to double check and make sure I'm not going to miss anything. I did, after all, entitle this 100% walkthrough, and so I really want to be thorough and make sure that I don't miss anything easy, because that would be pretty embarrassing. Okay. Well, now we know we need to go to the Cave of Marsh. And let me tell you a little bit about the Cave of Marsh. I think that anybody that played this game as a kid probably has the name of that place burned into your memory as a very, very bad place. It is a major step up in the difficulty, and it's your first lesson for what this game is all about, and particularly what dungeon crawls in this game are all about. An ogre just dealt a vicious crit to Wilbo, so he is dead again. We're going to go ahead and rectify that right away. But look at that, we went for a short walk and we've already got more than 1,000 gold. That's awesome. And you can see, like, we can't even really go that far without just getting crippled. But we still can't afford a single spell or the silver sword, so we're going to go ahead and sail to Dwarfland. But what I was going to say about, whoops. Okay, if I could kindly get out of town. What I was going to say about dungeon crawls is that they are unusually brutal in this game. And that is obviously because this is a first iteration of this type of game. This is a new enemy type, the Kaizoku. He's a little bit of a souped-up pirate, but he's not much of a threat at all. I could be wrong about this, but I do believe he's one of the few ocean-type enemies that is not vulnerable to lightning. And it's worth noting that you can see those sideboards, but I can't, so I think it's kind of interesting to be like, make guesses about what I remember, and then see if they're right or wrong. So now I'm going to actually do the push B select, because I don't remember exactly where that Cave of Dwarf is. Yeah, I believe it's just south of here. And of course, I'm going to elaborate on what I mean by dungeon crawls in this game being particularly brutal. But first, here we are at the Cave of Dwarf. And let's steal their treasure. Let's see what you have to say. With the crystal, even the blind can see. Astos stole it from Matoya. So yeah, we've kind of got that. 575 gold, I love it. And 450, nice. Little over 1,000 there. So, before we talk to everybody, just to quickly finish my thought, you have to traverse the entire dungeon from town all the way in, all the way to the final floor, face the boss of the area, and then trudge all the way back out and back to town. And you've seen how brutal some of the random encounters can be on the party. So if you happen to lose anyone along the way, or if you happen to get poisoned and aren't ready and don't have ways to rectify that, you've got to walk all the way back to town, and there is no way to recover your spell charges until later in the game. So you've really got to plan ahead and be ready to do these things. Like, it's crazy difficult, and the Marsh Cave is a huge difficulty ramping up. So now that I've kind of said my piece about that, let's talk to the rest of these dwarves. Dwarves can see in the dark. Well, I bet Matoya wishes she was a dwarf right now. I'm looking for the floater. I'll bet with it I could float anything. Okay. So the floater is something that we'll be interested in picking up at some point. They're denoted by being in all caps. Hooray, he says. Now let's see if I can find the guy that I want to talk about in here. The circle bracelet can protect you like armor, so that's explaining to us what those bracelets are. Hooray, he says. All right. They're having a good time in here. Did you meet Smith, our blacksmith? No, but he's aptly named. That sound, Narek is digging a canal. That's the guy that I wanted to talk about. I believe that there was supposed to be like a digging sound playing in here, but due to the technical limitations, they couldn't really figure out a way to do that and like have music playing. So they just had a guy say that, and we can pretend the sound is there. The earth is rotting slowly from the west. Yeah, that probably has to do with our earth crystal being dark. For the Light Warriors, I will make a truly legendary sword. However, my supply of adamant is exhausted. I do want a legendary sword. That sounds pretty awesome. But we'll have to find that adamant. And now we have a few more things to add to our list, which is the floater, we need adamant, we need Matoya's crystal, we need the crown, so it's getting long. A rock blocks construction of my canal. If only I had TNT. And when I mean it's getting long, it's getting even longer. We also need some TNT. And that is, I'm starting to lose count. Is that room number 7? We get access to a whole bunch of cool stuff. Nothing here. Well, he says there's a rock there. And I believe him. He's a dwarf, so he's an expert in this. Yeah, it's either 6 or 7 rooms now. So the Mystic Key is getting more and more tantalizing with each new area we go to. And we'll have to remember where all of these are, but it's pretty easy. It's basically a few places we've already been. And that's just about it. Yep, we already talked to you, and I believe we were already in here, but why not double check? Yep. Okay. So we've got a little bit of new direction. We made a little bit of money. And our fetch quests are getting longer and longer. So we definitely have a lot to do right now. But the main thing we need to do is level up more. And so we're gonna go ahead and head back to Elfland, because we still have some grinding to do, but it is nice to get a little bit of context and new information for our different quests that we have all on our docket here. I believe Red Sahag is a new one. So we're gonna hit him with a lightning bolt. And you'll be able to see in this fight, well, maybe not. I think I included 1 or 2 others so far. But I am doing a fair bit better damage. But obviously I am going to miss from time to time because of that hit percent that I lost switching to this weapon. We'll hit him with another lightning bolt. We're on our way back to town anyway. That shark is not going down. Come on. I gotta feel like a third attack from Skittle is gonna drop this shark. There we go. And yeah, you haven't seen most of the battles, but Skittle is basically immune to physical attacks right now. It's awesome. And he doesn't even have his upgraded armor yet. Yeah, we're up to $3,000. That's great. But I think we're going to make a beeline for that silver sword, because that's going to make our grinding a lot easier and a lot faster. You could make an argument for not picking up the silver sword, because it's going to invalidate a lot of swords we find for a while. But here's the thing. The Marsh Cave is an absolute nightmare, and because the elemental properties of weapons don't work, that sound you hear, by the way, is because I got poisoned, and I am losing HP with every step. And not even the inn fixes it. So I gotta trudge all the way to the item shop. I wonder if the priest can actually fix this. Can he? Nope. Oh, that is just a lovely noise, isn't it? But what I was gonna say is that the elemental properties of weapons don't work. Let's get a pure potion, shall we? In fact, let's get a couple of these. Unfortunately, this is gonna cost us a lot of money. But I don't want to have to come back to town every time I get poisoned. And I've already lost, what is that, 80 hit points? No, that math is wrong. 60? Roughly 60. So let's get me back in my proper slot. And yeah, it just messes up your whole party. For no reason. Why does it do that? But so, to finish my thought about the elemental properties, you will get things like a fire sword and an ice sword, and if everything worked properly, you'd be able to use those to your advantage, and then you wouldn't need something like the silver sword to kind of carry you with your damage output. But because those don't work, I actually don't care very much about invalidating a bunch of weapons we're gonna find. And I hate the Marsh Cave so much. Like, I do mean it is a very bad place. And I think from here, let's see how far away our level ups are. Okay, one more fight. Right, those should be the same. One or two. And a whole bunch. But I think we've seen all the enemies in this area, so what I'm gonna do is cut here, and I will see you back here when we are all level 7. Okay, this next fight or two should be Wilbo's level up to level 7. So there is gonna be a story or two that I want to share, so I'm just gonna go ahead and talk over these. So there are a couple of characters in this story that I want to tell. One is the scenario designer who was the person who had the idea for the crystals. That's going to be Koichi Ishii. And the director, once again, was Hironobu Sakaguchi. And so they needed some art for the game after the scenario had been written. You know, they were thinking, like, this is pretty good. But we need somebody to be the art director. And so Ishii suggested Yoshitaka Amano. And if you know who that is, he recently did a bunch of really cool, like, special art magic cards for a bunch of Planeswalkers, which was really awesome. And he is also the person who did these sort of, like, watercolory art for, like, Final Fantasy 6, and I believe he did some for 4 as well. But either way, Sakaguchi was like, Amano, I've never heard of him. No, that's going to be a no from me. And so later, Sakaguchi comes back to Ishii with some magazine clippings, and he's like, hey, check out this art here. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need for the game. This stuff is really good. And Ishii looks at him and goes, so I feel like I gotta tell you something. That art is by Amano, you know, the guy I suggested. So there's Wilbo's level up. And so in that way, Amano ended up with the job as the person doing the art for this game, and lots of installments ever since. And we are very, very close to getting that silver sword, so why don't we grind for it? And we'll go ahead and buy that. Actually, that fight just about did it. Yeah, we got one more fight. Let's do it. Yep, let's see. I think that did it. Yep. Awesome. And I can't wait to show you the stats on this bad boy. I'm just gonna pause here for a second so you can take that in. Let's go ahead and buy it. Oh, yes. Let's sell our short sword. And that conveniently gives me enough money for another in-stay, which will be nice. But what I want to do is I want to get in a fight real quick just to show off the damage on this thing. Perfect. I might be able to one-shot this ogre, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to send 2 attacks at it, but this is going to be sweet. Here it comes. Oh, not quite. Here we go. 106 damage. That's that whole life bar of that one ogre. Oh, yes. We have a badass on our hands. Meanwhile, I can't hit a single creep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. The Marsh Cave is not ready for me. You understand? Oh, that was exciting. But let's go ahead and get back to town. And I'm going to go ahead and rest up. Because we still have a little ways to go on our grinding. We do need an armor upgrade and at least a couple of spells before I feel comfortable heading to the Marsh Cave, but we'll be able to get those pretty quick because we're almost ready to take on the Peninsula of Power. But that's going to be all the time I've got for today, so I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Final Fantasy Friday.